The sky above Seoul burned crimson as Zoran warships descended through the atmosphere. Once a city of towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, Seoul now stood as humanity's final stronghold, its outer districts reduced to rubble by relentless bombardment. General Jean stood at the command center window, watching energy beams slice through the clouds. Her uniform hung loosely on her frame, she couldn't remember when she'd last eaten properly. The war against the Zorans had raged for nearly 20 years, and humanity was losing. "General, Eastern defenses have fallen," reported Captain Yu, his young face marked with fatigue and a healing wound across his cheek. "Civilians are evacuating to the underground bunkers, but the Zorans are moving faster than expected." Jean nodded. She had known this day would come. The aliens had been methodical in their conquest, crushing human resistance continent by continent. What began as a simple mining operation in Earth's asteroid belt had evolved into full-scale invasion when humans attempted to assert their territorial rights. "What about the other command posts?" Jean asked, though she already suspected the answer. "North American Command went dark 3 hours ago. European Command followed shortly after. We're the last remaining military headquarters on Earth." Jean closed her eyes briefly. 20 years of fighting, of watching friends and family fall, of watching cities burn. The Zorans viewed humans as pests to be exterminated, obstacles to their harvesting of Earth's resources. They hadn't even bothered to communicate until humans had destroyed one of their mining vessels. The message had been simple: surrender or die. Humanity had chosen to fight. "The inner wall is breached." A young soldier rushed into the command center, blood streaming from a gash on his forehead. "They're inside the perimeter." Jean turned to Captain Yu. "How many civilians remain in the evacuation zone?" "At least 2,000, General." "They need more time." Jin's hand moved to a small panel hidden beneath her command console. Her fingerprint unlocked it, revealing a red button protected by a clear shield. "Protocol Lazarus, the final option, authorized only when all hope seemed lost." "Captain, get to the secure bunker and oversee the civilian evacuation," Jean ordered. Yu hesitated. "And you, General?" "I'll join you shortly. First, I need to activate our last contingency plan." The bunker communication system crackled with static as desperate reports flooded in from the remaining defense teams. Jean knew what she had to do. The Zorans believed they had won, that humanity was weak, divided, and easily conquered. They were about to learn otherwise. "All personnel, fall back to evacuation route B," Jean announced over the emergency channel. "This is not a defeat, this is a tactical retreat." Outside, the sounds of battle grew closer. Jean lifted the shield covering the red button. Once pressed, Protocol Lazarus would send activation signals to facilities hidden deep beneath the Earth's surface, places so secret that even most military leaders didn't know they existed. The door to the command center burst open. 3 Zoran soldiers entered, their insectoid forms bristling with weapons. Jean didn't hesitate. She pressed the button and grabbed her sidearm in one fluid motion. "For Earth," she whispered, opening fire. Miles below the surface, in bunkers spread across the globe, ancient systems hummed to life. Cryochambers began warming, computer systems initiated boot sequences, and medical equipment prepared for activation. The Praetorians, 10,000 genetically enhanced super soldiers created as humanity's ultimate defense, began their awakening process. On the surface, General Jean fought valiantly, buying precious minutes for the evacuation. Her bullets couldn't penetrate Zoran armor completely, but she aimed for joints and sensors, slowing their advance. A searing pain tore through her side as a Zoran energy beam found its mark. Jean stumbled but remained standing. She had one final task, to ensure the Zorans believed they had eliminated all human resistance. "This is General Jean," she broadcast openly, knowing the Zorans would intercept the message. "I am the last commanding officer of Earth's united forces. Our defeat is..." She paused, letting pain color her voice, "total. May whoever finds this record know that we fought to the end." The Zoran commander approached, its mandibles clicking in what might have been satisfaction. "Your species was weak," it said in halting human language. "Unworthy of this world. Jean smiled despite the pain.
You have no idea what's coming for you.
The Zoran raised its weapon. In her final moments, Jean thought of the sleeping soldiers, Earth's last hope, stirring in their hidden chambers. The Zorans celebrated their victory that day, unaware that humanity's true defenders had only just begun to wake. Deep below the Earth's surface, in a facility carved into solid granite, lights flickered on for the first time in 50 years. Emergency systems hummed to life, filling the vast underground complex with a soft, steady sound. Frost melted from the surfaces of 1,000 metal pods arranged in perfect rows.
Inside Pod Alpha 001, Colonel Tay opened his eyes. His mind was immediately clear despite decades of frozen sleep.
The medical displays above his pod flashed green, showing his enhanced body was functioning correctly. His muscles were strong, his bones reinforced, his brain augmented with combat neural implants.
A mechanical voice spoke throughout the facility, Protocol Lazarus activated. Praetorian Initiative now operational.
Earth status, occupied by hostile forces. Tay sat up as the pod opened. His body felt strange, powerful but unfamiliar. He remembered the enhancement procedures before cryosleep, how the scientists had rebuilt him and the others atom by atom.
They were the Praetorians, now humanity's final defense when all else failed.
"Colonel, welcome back," said a technician who approached with a folded uniform. She too had just awakened from cryosleep, though she was not enhanced like Tay.
"I'm Medical Officer Sunday. The awakening process is proceeding as planned."
Tay dressed quickly, noticing how the fabric felt against his heightened senses.
"How many pods are active?"
"All 10,000 across the global network," Sun replied.
"Your unit here includes 2,000.
The others are awakening in similar facilities around the world."
Tay followed Sun to the command center where screens showed data streams and satellite images of Earth's surface.
He wasn't prepared for what he saw.
Cities lay in ruins.
Alien structures rose from the rubble of human civilization. Strange ships patrolled the skies.
"How long have they been here?"
Tay asked. "The Zoran invasion began 70 years ago.
The war lasted 20 years before General Jean activated Protocol Lazarus. And the human population?" Sun hesitated.
"Current estimates suggest fewer than 5 million survivors, mostly in hidden bunkers or remote regions."
"The Zorans believe they've eliminated all organized human resistance." Tay absorbed this information silently.
He had known this day might come. It was why the Praetorian program existed. The selected soldiers had volunteered knowing they might wake to a world where everything they knew was gone.
A door slid open, and Major re-entered.
Like Tay, his body showed the signs of enhancement, taller, stronger, with eyes that held an unnatural clarity. "The tactical center is online," Re reported. "And we have signals from other Praetorian facilities."
"We're not alone." Tay nodded. "Show me what we're facing."
They moved to the tactical room where a holographic display showed Earth.
Red markers indicated Zoran strongholds and patrol patterns.
The aliens had established major bases on every continent, mining operations in the oceans, and a defensive network in orbit. "Their technology is advanced," Re explained, "but they have weaknesses. They rely heavily on centralized command structures and automated systems. Their biology is also different. They evolved in environments with higher radiation and lower gravity." Tay studied the display.
"And our advantages?" "Our enhanced abilities, for one," Sun said.
"The Praetorians were designed to be stronger, faster, and more resilient than standard humans. Your wounds heal rapidly, your muscles don't tire easily, and your neural implants process tactical information at incredible speeds.
Plus," Re added, "the Zorans don't know we exist. They think they've won."
A soldier approached with a secure tablet.
"Colonel, you should see this."
The screen showed footage from a hidden camera, the final moments of General Jean as she faced Zoran soldiers in the old command center.
Despite being wounded, she stood proud and defiant.
"You have no idea what's coming for you," Jean said before the recording ended in static.
Tay handed the tablet back, his enhanced features set with determination.
"She bought us this chance.
We won't waste it." Throughout the facility, more Praetorians awakened.
Some tested their enhanced strength in the training areas, lifting weights that would crush normal humans.
Others reviewed tactical data, their neural implants helping them process decades of intelligence in minutes.
Tay gathered his command staff, all enhanced soldiers like himself.
"We were created for this moment," he told them. "When humanity fell to its knees, we were meant to rise. The Zorans believe they've won, that humans are weak and easily conquered.
Our mission is to show them how wrong they are." Outside the briefing room, the Praetorians prepared for war.
Weapons designed specifically to combat the Zoran threat were distributed. Teams formed, guided by their shared neural networks.
For 50 years they had slept, preserved as humanity's last hope.
Now they were awake.
And they were coming. The Zoran patrol moved silently through the ruins of what had once been Busan. 6 insect-like soldiers scanned the area with compound eyes that glowed faintly in the darkness. They had received reports of unusual activity in this sector but found nothing, just concrete rubble and twisted metal like everywhere else on this conquered planet. The patrol leader clicked its mandibles in frustration.
"Sector clear," it reported through its communication device. No sign of.
It never finished the sentence.
Something fast and silent dropped from above. In seconds, all 6 Zorans lay motionless on the ground.
Major Ree stood up from his crouch, his enhanced muscles barely strained from the effort. He signaled to his team, and 5 more Praetorians emerged from hiding places.
Each wore advanced stealth armor that bent light around them, making them nearly invisible. No alarms triggered, Ree confirmed, checking a device on his wrist. "Team 2, what's your status?"
"Communication relay identified," came the response through his neural implant.
"Ready to proceed."
3 kilometers away, Captain Min led her team toward a tall structure built by the Zorans.
Unlike human buildings, it featured strange angles and pulsing organic components. This was one of 12 major communication relays the aliens used to coordinate their operations across the Korean peninsula.
"Remember, we're not just destroying it," Min reminded her team.
"We're planting the virus first."
The Praetorians moved with impossible speed and precision, their enhanced bodies capable of feats no regular human could achieve. They scaled the structure without equipment, their modified hands finding tiny grips in the alien architecture. At the top, Sergeant June, their technology specialist, placed a small device against the main control node. His neural implants interfaced with the device, allowing him to navigate the alien system.
"Uploading virus," he whispered. "This will open a backdoor into their network that we can exploit later." The device blinked green. "Done. Now we make some noise."
The charges they placed were carefully calculated enough to destroy the relay but designed to look like a structural failure, not sabotage. As they retreated to a safe distance, the relay collapsed in on itself, crumbling without an explosion. Back at Sanctuary, their underground base, Colonel Tay studied reports from similar operations worldwide. For 3 months, the Praetorians had struck from the shadows, gathering intelligence and testing Zoran defenses without revealing themselves. "The aliens are confused," reported Intelligence Officer Sung, a thin woman with enhanced cognitive abilities. "They're increasing patrols but can't identify the source of the attacks.
Some believe it's equipment failure, others suspect surviving human resistance groups." "And the virus?" Tay asked. "Successfully deployed in 8 major communication hubs. We're gathering valuable intelligence about their operations, force distribution, and most importantly, their weaknesses." The data showed something interesting. The Zorans relied heavily on a collective consciousness enhanced by technology. Their individual soldiers were less effective when communication was disrupted. "They think collectively," Tay noted. "We'll use that against them."
In the training area, newly awakened Praetorians practiced combat techniques specifically designed to exploit Zoran physiology.
Their enhanced strength allowed them to break through the aliens' armored exoskeletons.
Their speed let them attack before the Zorans could target them with energy weapons. "We're ready for the next phase," Major Ree said as he entered the command center.
"The teams are performing beyond expectations." Colonel Tay nodded. "Then it's time the Zorans learned they're not hunting equipment failures. They're being hunted themselves."
The next day, a Zoran commander named Kreltok inspected the site of another relay failure. This was the fifth communication outage in his sector alone.
The overseer was getting impatient for answers.
"There," said one of his soldiers, pointing to something in the debris.
Kreltok approached cautiously.
A small metal disc lay among the ruins, clearly not of Zoran origin. It bore a simple image, a phoenix rising from Earth's ashes. "Send this to analysis immediately," he ordered.
"And double all patrols."
As the Zoran ships raced across the sky, none of them noticed the hidden observation post where Lieutenant J watched through enhanced vision. She smiled as she saw the commander find their calling card. "Message delivered," she reported back to Sanctuary.
"They know we exist now." Throughout Earth's conquered territories, more Zoran outposts went dark.
More phoenixes were found. The aliens increased their security, diverted resources from their mining operations, and began to look over their shoulders. The Shadow War had begun. And for the first time since the invasion, the Zorans felt something they had never expected to feel on this conquered world: fear. The Zoran commander Kreltok stared at the holographic display showing yet another destroyed outpost. 6 months had passed since the first attacks, and the situation was deteriorating rapidly. What had begun as isolated incidents had evolved into a coordinated assault across all Zoran territories.
"How many casualties?" he asked his lieutenant. 37 soldiers lost. All equipment destroyed." And this was found. The lieutenant handed him another Phoenix disc, identical to dozens recovered from other attack sites. Kreltok's mandibles clicked in frustration. The overseer was demanding results, but how could he fight an enemy that struck without warning and disappeared without a trace?
A sudden alarm blared through the command center. Multiple contacts approaching from the east, shouted a sensor operator.
"Show me," demanded Kreltok.
The display shifted to show something impossible: a large force moving directly toward their base.
Not hiding, not using stealth tactics, but advancing in broad daylight.
For the first time, Kreltok saw their enemy clearly.
Colonel Tay led the assault personally, 200 Praetorians moving in perfect formation behind him.
Their armor gleamed in the morning sun, each soldier carrying weapons specifically designed to combat Zoran physiology.
This was no longer a shadow war, it was an open declaration of humanity's return.
"All units, prepare for contact," Tay ordered through the neural network that connected all Praetorians.
"Remember your training. Their exoskeletons are strongest at the front. Target joints and sensory organs." The Zorans opened fire first, energy weapons cutting through the air.
Several beams struck Tay directly, scorching his armor and burning the skin beneath.
But he didn't fall.
The pain registered and was quickly suppressed by his neural implants while his enhanced healing began repairing the damage immediately. The Praetorians returned fire with specialized weapons, sonic disruptors that exploited the Zoran's sensitive hearing organs, and projectiles designed to penetrate their exoskeletons at vulnerable points. "They're not dying," a Zoran soldier screeched into its communicator.
"We hit them directly and they keep coming." Tay reached the first defensive line and engaged the aliens in hand-to-hand combat.
His enhanced strength allowed him to tear through their armor with specially designed gauntlets. Around him, other Praetorians did the same, moving with impossible speed and coordination. Back at Sanctuary, Major Gunn oversaw the second phase of the operation. As the Zorans focused on the direct assault, teams of infiltrators breached the base's lower levels. "Team Alpha in position at the main generator," reported Captain Min through the neural link.
"Team Beta has secured the data center. Proceed as planned," Gunn ordered.
Min placed devices throughout the power distribution system. These weren't simple explosives, they were advanced technological weapons designed to interface with and corrupt Zoran systems. When activated, they would not only destroy this base but send a cascading failure through any connected Zoran networks.
Kreltok realized too late that the frontal assault was a distraction.
By the time emergency alerts came from the lower levels, his forces were already in disarray.
"Evacuate command personnel," he ordered. "Send emergency signals to." The base's lights flickered and died. Backup systems tried to engage but failed.
Throughout the facility, Zoran technology began to turn against itself as the human virus spread through their systems.
Colonel Tay watched from a nearby hillside as the massive Zoran base imploded, its structure collapsing as power systems overloaded.
Similar reports were coming in from around the globe, coordinated strikes against major Zoran installations, all happening simultaneously.
Casualty report, he asked. 23 Praetorians with significant injuries, Lieutenant J responded. All will recover fully within days. No permanent losses.
The healing factor engineered into their bodies was proving even more effective than the scientists had hoped. Wounds that would kill normal humans merely slowed the Praetorians temporarily. In orbit, the Zoran fleet received disturbing reports from ground forces across the planet.
Their supposedly secure network had been compromised.
Their supposedly defeated enemy was not only alive but had evolved into something terrifying: soldiers who couldn't be killed, who fought with unexpected strength and knowledge of Zoran weaknesses. The Overseer's command ship moved into a higher orbit, away from Earth's surface. For the first time since the invasion began, the Zoran leadership felt uncertain about their control of the planet. At Sanctuary, Colonel Tay addressed his officers. Maps showed successful strikes across every continent, with Zoran forces in retreat or disarray.
Phase 1 of the counterattack is complete, he announced. We've shown them we can hurt them.
We've shown them we understand their technology and biology better than they expected.
Now we prepare for Phase 2.
He pointed to the largest remaining Zoran stronghold, their main headquarters built on the ruins of the old United Nations complex in New York. We strike at their heart, Tay said. And we show them that Earth belongs to humanity. The Zoran overseer stood in his command chamber atop what had once been the United Nations headquarters in New York. Through giant viewing panels, he observed his remaining forces establishing defensive positions around the city. 3/4 of their Earth-based military had been lost in the past month alone. Supply lines were cut.
Communication networks failed repeatedly.
And the inexplicable enemy, these enhanced humans who refused to die, kept advancing. The last transport ships are ready, Overseer, reported his second-in-command.
We should evacuate while we still can.
I will not retreat from lesser beings, the Overseer hissed, his mandibles clicking with anger.
Send all remaining combat units to defend this position. We will make our stand here.
On a hilltop overlooking the ruins of Manhattan, Colonel Tay watched the Zoran preparations through enhanced vision. Beside him stood the commanders of all Praetorian forces, 10,000 super soldiers now fully awakened and deployed across the globe. Their fleet is pulling back to defensive positions, Major Ree noted, his neural implants processing tactical data in real time. They've committed their remaining ground forces to protect their command center.
Tay nodded. Exactly as we predicted.
The Overseer's pride won't let him abandon Earth without a fight.
The plan was simple but bold. While the main Praetorian force launched a frontal assault on the Zoran headquarters, specialized teams would infiltrate their orbital defense network.
Lieutenant Gunn had already led her team to capture a Zoran shuttle, which would carry Colonel Tay and a strike team directly to the Overseer.
It's time, Tay announced to the assembled Praetorians. For 70 years, aliens have walked on our world, believing humans weak and defeated. Today we show them humanity's true strength. The battle began at dawn.
Thousands of Praetorians moved across the Hudson River, their enhanced bodies allowing them to navigate the water with ease. Zoran defenses opened fire immediately, energy weapons illuminating the morning sky. Many Praetorians were hit, their armor scorched and flesh burned, but they kept advancing.
Their engineered healing abilities sealed wounds even as they fought.
The Zorans watched in horror as soldiers they thought they had killed rose again and again. Meanwhile, the captured shuttle carrying Tay's strike team approached the headquarters building from above, using stolen Zoran identification codes to bypass security. We're in position, Tay reported through the neural network.
Beginning final phase.
Inside the Zoran command center, alarms blared as reports of breaches came from all sides. The Overseer moved to the emergency escape pod, but the door wouldn't open as sabotaged by infiltrators who had reached the building ahead of the main force. The main doors to the command center burst open. Colonel Tay entered, flanked by Major Ree and Captain Min. Their armor showed signs of battle, scorched and damaged, but their eyes held unwavering determination.
Impossible, the overseer said, backing away. We destroyed your kind.
You tried, Tay replied simply.
But humans don't surrender so easily.
Outside, Praetorians had overwhelmed the Zoran defenses. Those aliens still fighting found themselves surrounded and outmatched by soldiers who seemed impervious to their weapons. In orbit, Lieutenant Gunn's team had seized control of the Zoran command ship. From there, they broadcast a message to the entire Zoran fleet, images of their defeated ground forces, their overseer surrounded, and thousands of enhanced humans reclaiming their world. You believed we were weak, Tay said to the overseer, his voice transmitted to every Zoran ship. You thought destroying our cities and killing our leaders would end us.
But humanity doesn't die. We adapt. We overcome.
We evolve. He placed a small device on the floor, a holographic projector showing images from around the world, Praetorians freeing human survivors from hidden bunkers, Zoran outposts falling one after another. Leave our world, Tay continued. Tell your people what happened here. Tell them about the humans who refused to be conquered. The overseer looked at the unstoppable soldiers surrounding him, then at the hopeless tactical situation displayed on his screens. With a gesture of defeat, he activated his communication device. All forces, he ordered, retreat from Earth orbit. The planet is lost to us. Within hours, the Zoran fleet began to withdraw. From Sanctuary and other bases around the world, humans watched the alien ships growing smaller in the sky until they vanished completely. 1 month later, Colonel Tay stood on a hillside overlooking the beginnings of a new human settlement. Former refugees worked alongside Praetorians to build homes and plant crops. Children played in fields that had once been battlegrounds.
What will we do if they return? Asked Major Ree, joining him on the hill.
Tay watched a group of Praetorians teaching young survivors how to defend themselves.
We'll be ready, he said. And next time, we won't be fighting for survival.
We'll be fighting to take our place among the stars.
Above them, the first human spacecraft since the invasion rose into the blue sky, a recovered Zoran shuttle modified by Praetorian engineers. Humanity was reclaiming not just its world, but its future.